August the 28th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at a video. I'm not going to play it. I'll link it, though. It's from KCRA3 TV, and it's of the Burning Man Festival. Remember last year we covered it, and it was a big mud festival, basically. But they had a guy from California die there. Leon Reese of Truckee, California, died there. Now, they've just started it back up, and a lady has died there. It looks like an overdose. We may never know, but I feel sorry for her. I pray for her family because no one wants that to happen. And, you know, kids will be kids and adults will be kids sometimes too. But the reason I'm going here is not to talk about someone dying there, but, guys, it is basically a pagan festival. You've got to admit it. But again, that's not why I'm here. The reason I'm here is you've got a big event like this and these big concentric circles. You've got now what's called the air-conditioned orgy house there that anybody can participate in with as many people as you want to. That's probably been going on too. But the thing about it is you've got something going on, a big negative energy deal. You may be having a lot of fun there, but what it represents is negative energy. And you had a blood sacrifice. Many people have said this over the years. In 1990, or since 1990, when Burning Man was held at Baker's Beach, I think in California, I guess it got too big, then they moved it out to the Black Rock Desert. Think of that, which is 100 miles north of Reno. We looked at the satellite images and all that last year, looked at the roads out. Most of you remember. But this evil event, negative event, and sacrifice has been going on in many other places. And the first thing I thought of was I'd already thought of what I saw in Chicago and of that, but when this come out, I decided to do the video because I think it relates. But the DNC was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of riots and protests out there, pro-Palestinian or whatever the latest protest they want, and they can get paid to do, they'll do it. But there was not a lot of quality to any of the messages there. I couldn't watch any of it, but I read some of it, that there was nothing about policy, anything to improve the economy of the country, or anything like that. It was basically bashing the opposition. And I think that turned a lot of Democrats off. But the last night, again, Thursday night, they lied, said that I think, who is it, Beyonce was going to show up, and they even announced that she had arrived to keep people there later and later. And then it comes to find out they had never said they were coming. It was just another lie in the group of lies from that party that we saw. That's total desperation. Think about that. That's all you would hear about if the other side did it. But now let's go to that's the stupid part, the confusion, and the Babylon part of it. But the Babylon part has another aspect about sacrifice. What was the bus that they made sure that they had in place there as soon as they found out about it? It was kind of announced quickly, not very well put together, but they had a bus there, guys. What was it? You already know, I think. It was the abortion bus. Blood sacrifices. So you had an evil power event that was very poorly organized, but they made sure to get the blood sacrifice in there, I guess to give power to it. Now, I have read before that in Europe they found out, it's probably worldwide, that in big bridges or big construction, churches even, big buildings, they would have a blood sacrifice, maybe of children. They found the bones in all these locations, inside the walls and inside the bridges and stuff. But and they would say it was to keep the evil spirits away from that building or that job or that construction, whatever was going on. It was always to, again, blood sacrifice. That's what they believe in. And so we saw it there with that bus. It was important. The news made that a highlight. You can come there and get a free abortion, or you can get a vasectomy. But the abortion, and that's all got to do with everything else about depopulation. This is a record year for low birth rate. in this country. Now, because again it was a very ill-planned event, but it had plenty of negative features about it, and then you had the blood sacrifice. I just wonder how that's going to work out, because we're finding out more and more that they're eating themselves or throwing each other under the bus to try to get a step up or to cover a lie or whatever it is. We saw them throw Biden out. As soon as they did the interview with him and Trump, he was thrown under the bus. But he was never in place to begin with, if you think about who was running it. And if it goes down like it is, and whether whichever side you vote for, with what I saw there and what they said, the nation is going to continue to go downhill from now on. It won't be 4 more years, because it will never be another election. We're very close to the end times. And by the way, NATO is having an emergency meeting. I think it started yesterday with Ukraine, because Russia is wiping them out. I think 175 sites and missiles were hit in the last few days. They wiped out a complete command center that was mostly NATO generals and observers and advisors. Many spoke English, they said. And they're wiping out the tanks, the trains, and everything. And what happened, we saw, let me move to a map quickly. And this is an interactive web map. Basically, this is brand new information. As a matter of fact, let me pull it down and we'll look at the timestamp. Today, August 28, 2024, at 3 p.m. Eastern, a couple hours ago. And so it's relatively new. The red areas is where Russia has crossed into the Ukrainian territory and took this over. This blue area, where the Zaporizhia Dam was one of the first ones hit, guys, this is saying land that's re-emerging, emerging land in the Kakhovka Reservoir. And again, that has to do with the Zaporizhia hit. Now, what has happened, and again, NATO is having a meeting with Ukraine, guys, is in this area. Let me pull it up. And you saw, I think I did a video on it right here. This is, get a little closer, pull it up just a little more here. Here's Kursk. Here is the reservoir with the nuclear power plants right there. So they wanted to come in, and this is claimed land by Ukraine. But guys, a couple of days ago, it was 11,000 casualties from NATO coming in there, and hundreds of tanks and any other military vehicles. They've shot down planes. Some planes have not even made it off the landing pads and stuff like that yet. But they're having to pull back now. And what their plan was to take, let me pull this up, make sure you understand what I'm talking about here. Right in this is Kurchatov Reservoir, and it's part of that nuclear power plant there. Anyway, they wanted to come this far north, capture it, and use it as a bargaining chip against Russia, I guess, for you get back out over across the borders, or we're going to keep this captured, or we're going to blow it up, or whatever they wanted to do. Well, they got beat down, and what happened, guys, is they have lost almost all of their NATO equipment. More's being pushed in, but tremendous amounts are being destroyed as it does, along with human lives. And that's the sad part, the war and the cost of lives, so people can make money or push a political agenda or hide a political agenda, let's say it like that. Anyway, that didn't work. And so now they have been trying to send missiles over and blow the nuclear power plant up. Guys, this is for everyone on the planet, and especially you guys neighboring that. All of Europe is involved in this. So it's like, well, if we can't have it, you can't have it. We'll burn the house down instead of losing it. And that's what they're doing now. And it's a threat, but what has happened is they have wasted, again, human lives and military equipment here. And they're running very low. And Russia now is striking them so deep and hard. 170 hits, I think, last night. And it mostly hit electrical output stations across the entire Ukraine nation. But they hit another command center of NATO that this is Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, Russia here, notice that. But they hit a command post, guys, and they said there were many English-speaking people there in the report. NATO got hit hard. Now they're in panic. When people like this get desperate and in panic, they will do desperate things. So with this meeting with NATO and Ukraine, not Russia, just Ukraine. Now this is the latest from War News 247. Many of you seen it. It's .gr, by the way. They're saying Stoltenberg, that's the head of NATO, convenes emergency NATO-Ukraine Council. Russia strikes Western trainers and targets in 148 regions of Ukraine. What did Putin say? Right there, again, updated to date. We haven't seen anything yet, says Moscow. They know that the West and NATO are desperate. They know they want to start something before the election. They know they want to control the entire world. And they're bound and determined not to let that happen. When Putin says, after what they did last night, largest strike since the war began, the most powerful new weapons, the Killzars and all of that were used. There's videos that you can go through this website, again, warnews247.gr, because it's in Greek and you've got a Google translator. But again, Russia strikes Western trainers and targets in 148 regions. They put the whammy on this stuff because of what they were doing up in the Kursk area, trying to get in there and get that nuclear plant. And now they're trying to blow it up. Europe, are you listening? And the rest of the world? I hope you are. And I hope someone in that part of NATO can get just a lick of sense and realize the danger. But when you've got so many demons building a platform or a project, and not just baby lives like we were talking about in the beginning of this video, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people will be affected. Thousands and thousands have died. Again, just in the Kursk event, over 11,000 died. And that's not over with yet. They're kind of trapped right now. Russia pulled them in there, let them waste as much materials and souls of men as they could, and now they're clamping down. Those guys could be trapped before this is said and done. But Putin has said, you've seen nothing yet. That should wake some folks up, because desperation calls for desperate measures. And a lot of times when those desperate measures are done, they're not very well advised. Now, just in the articles under this one, guys, this one's reading is on the left, and you can go there and read the whole thing. But just here, again, on the 27th, yesterday, Kiev seeks permission for strategic strikes deep into Russia hinterland, gives the U.S. a list of Russian targets, and requests the JSM RERs for the and F-16s, and as much as they can get. But when it says Kiev seeks permission, it's not from NATO. Who are they saying? They gave the U.S. the list of Russian targets. Guys, that's us. We are in trouble. It says, New York Times, Kyiv's invasion of Kursk slows as Russia's advance into eastern Ukraine. Here, 26, Russia launches the largest bombardment since war began in Ukraine. Heavy hits in energy infrastructure and F-16 bases. Nuclear threats from Russia. 26, from the Russian state channel, Putin has decided particularly tough response on Kursk. And that's what you're seeing. Then this is where the video I reported on back on the 23rd. The goal of the 11,000 Ukrainians was to seize the Kursk nuclear power plant. They failed, and now they are trying to bomb it. And that's where you're seeing the smoke. Again, can't have it burn down the house. But this bombardment, guys, right here, that started it, but it continued last night. That's the 26th. Continued into the 27th, and now, again, these last two right there, they're begging. And why are they giving they're asking for weapons, but why are they giving the list of targets to the U.S.? What that's going to do, guys, is involve the whole planet. Because with a nuclear strike, even among a few European countries, Russia, the U.S., That's radiation will spread. Life will be shortened drastically, if not completely decimated, in a worldwide nuclear event. Sure, there'll be some underground bunker survivors, but what will they come out to if they survive at all? A whole changed planet. But maybe that's what they want. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.